H1. To all, from British bicycle nerds to a global retro bike flex, plus the crazy 2025 anniversary lineup that shows the brand still slaps. H2. Strong. The origins. How two British dudes accidentally kicked off a motorcycle empire. Strong. Alright, so picture this. It's the 1890s in England. Top hats, muddy roads, and everybody thinking bicycles are peak technology. Two dudes, Robert Walker Smith and Albert Eadie, swoop in around 1891 and snatch up a struggling bicycle company in Redditch, George Townsend & Co. The place is basically a bicycle ICU. But these guys, they got hustle. They take over the place, start trying to whip it into shape, and bam, in 1893, they land a government contract to supply parts to the Royal Small Arms Factory in Enfield. That's like the British version of getting your brand featured on a Marvel movie today. Instant glow up. To flex the new clout, they renamed their company to the Enfield Manufacturing Company Limited, and their bikes become Enfield bicycles. Later they add Royal, because hey, when the military gives you money, you milk that Royal Association. That's also when they drop one of the hardest brand slogans ever made. Made like a gun. Bro, they cooked with that one. Anyway, fast forward to 1898, and these maniacs are already bored of bicycles. Do they relax? Of course not. They start messing with engines and slap a tiny Dion motor between two bicycle frames. They create this Frankenstein thing called the quadricycle, like a motorized lawn chair with wheels. And that's their first step into the motorized world. Wild times. Part 2. The first legit bikes, 1901, and the company levels up. In 1901, Royal Enfield drops their official first motorcycle at the Stanley Cycle Show in London. This thing had like 1.5 horsepower, an engine up near the head tube, and a rear wheel driven by a straight-up rawhide belt. It was basically held together by hope and British tea. But it worked, and that's when things get spicy. By 1909, they're making their first V-twin using a 297cc engine from Moto Sacoche, a Swiss company. Fancy. Think of it like importing your engine from Switzerland today. You already know that build gonna be disrespectful. Then WW1 hits in 1914, and all the Allied armies, British, French, Belgian, even the Americans, start ordering Royal Enfields for military use. The Russians too. When wartime governments trust your bikes to not explode randomly, that's a big W. During the 1920s and 1930s, Royal Enfield is cooking non-stop, switching from belt drive to proper gearboxes, adding foot-operated gear shifts, making two-stroke and four-stroke bikes, dropping everything from 350cc rigs to small ladies' models. They were basically the Apple of motorcycles back then, dropping new hardware every year. But the world was changing. Part 3. The big plot twist. Royal Enfield leaves England and becomes Indian. Here's where the story goes full anime. The OG company in England, it slowly dies out after World War II. By the 1960s-70s, most of the British operations shut down. That could have been the end of Royal Enfield, another old-school British brand gone poof. But plot twist. Meanwhile in India, a company called Madras Motors had been importing Royal Enfield bikes for years. India loved these things. The roads were tough, the terrains were chaos, and the bullet, that thick, sturdy motorcycle, was perfect for it. So in 1955, they start building Royal Enfields locally under license. Think of it like a franchise, but for motorcycles. Then, as the UK brand collapses, the Indian-built Royal Enfield becomes the only surviving Enfield. The brand literally teleports from England to India, survives there, and rebuilds its entire identity. Eventually, it gets bought by Eicher Motors, a major Indian automotive company. And this is where Royal Enfield becomes, well, Royal Enfield, the iconic retro motorcycle company we know today. Indian-made, globally sold, and still rocking the old-school, big single, big twin, metal everywhere philosophy. By the 2000s and 2010s, Royal Enfield explodes worldwide because everyone is tired of overly complex techno sport bikes. Retro bikes are cool again. The company refuses to abandon its classic vibe. Affordability versus heritage equals perfect combo. PPLRI. They build modern factories in Chennai, research centers in India and the UK, and start exporting bikes everywhere. Today, Royal Enfield is officially the oldest motorcycle brand still making bikes non-stop since the beginning. 125 years, zero breaks, no flops, no retirements. They're basically the Snoop Dogg of motorcycle companies. PPH. Now on part 4. What makes Royal Enfield special? In regular human US slang. Let's be real. Royal Enfield is not trying to battle Yamaha R1s or Ducati Panigales. That's not their lane. Royal Enfield is all about heritage, simplicity, that old-school soul, metal, not plastic, vibes, not horsepower wars. It's the type of brand where the community is half the experience. Enfield riders love group rides, chilled touring, weekend meets, coffee shop flexing. The whole culture. They don't chase crazy high-tech stuff either. Until recently, they kept things simple. No ride modes, no touchscreens, no 47 buttons on the handlebar. Just you, the engine thump, and the wind. And the world loves them for exactly that. Part 5. The big 125-year anniversary, 2025. Royal Enfield goes full beast mode. Alright, now we get into the juicy part. The 2025 mega launch at EICMA, celebrating 125 years since their first motorcycle. They pulled up with special editions, brand new models, insane paint jobs, a concept electric bike, adventure stuff, custom collabs. It wasn't just a new bike drop. It was basically a statement. Yeah, we're 125 years old, but we still run this retro game. Blocking. The 2025 bikes. Breakdown in full US slang. The Classic 650. 125th Anniversary Edition. The star of the show. The king. The main flex. This is Royal Enfield going. Let's make something classy, bougie, and totally collector-worthy. This thing has a color-shifting paint job called Hypershift. Flips between red and gold, depending on the light. Straight-up Iron Man vibes. P. It gets. Blacked-out engine. P. Blacked-out pipes. P. Blacked-out rims. P. Gold 125-year badges. P. Premium quilted brown leather seat. P. Retro tank and nacelle styling. P. Looks like a vintage masterpiece, but built in 2026 level. Performance. Strong, always H3. 648cc parallel twin. Thor engine power. 6-speed with slipper clutch. Note that performance is only if you need it. This ain't built for racing, it's built for feeling good. Especially because this bike exists to show heritage, pride, Collectability. Thanks for being here. You get one of these and you basically own a literal piece of the brand's history. To Bullet 650, the OG returns as a modern beast. The Bullet is one of the most iconic bikes in India, like Harley in America. And now they made a 650cc version. Think classic Bullet tank, hand-painted pinstripes, tiger eye pilot lamps, beefy dual exhaust, big parallel twin power. This is for the dudes who want old-school big bike charm, but with modern torque, and a motorcycle that looks like a time traveler from the 1950s. This one will be a global hit, no doubt. 3. Himalayan Mana Black Adventure Bro Edition. Royal Enfield didn't forget the ADV crowd. Mana Black is stealth colorway, rugged styling, long travel suspension, go anywhere vibes. It shows RE still gives a damn about the off-road and touring crew. 4. Shotgun 650 X Russ Crafts Custom-Built Attitude. This is the We're Cool with custom culture flex. Rough Crafts is a legendary custom garage. Their collab with RE creates a dark, muscular, low-slung, custom-destructed, limited run, urban bad boy. This bike is basically for the dude who always wears all black and listens to synthwave at 2 a.m. Crash holds 5 Royal Enfield Flying Flea FFS6, the electric future teaser. Strong. This is the prototype that hints at RE's EV plans. No full specs yet, but it shows. Block quote. Yo, we know the future is electric. We're getting ready. It keeps the classic minimal design, but goes futuristic. It's like the grandkid of the legendary World War II Flying Flea, reborn for electric era. Why the 125-year launch actually matters. Royal Enfield hit 125 years of non-stop production, something no other motorcycle company can claim. This celebration honors their heritage, proves they aren't fading away, shows they're expanding, classic, ADV, electric, custom, touring, puts pressure on competitors, sets the tone for the next decade. The brand is basically saying, we started in 1901, we survived wars, we survived bankruptcies, we survived leaving England, we survived moving to India. We're still here, and we're only getting stronger. Hard flex. Full US. Slang summary. Why people still love Royal Enfield. At the end of the day, Enfield builds bikes for chill riders, classic lovers, retro fans, people who want vibes instead of lap times. They're simple, beautiful, affordable, reliable, timeless. Enfield bikes aren't for showing off speed. They're for showing off soul. And in a world drowning in high-tech, hypersport, plastic spaceship motorcycles, Royal Enfield is refreshing. It's metal. It's nostalgic. It's slow in a good way. It's about the journey, not the destination. And with the 125th anniversary lineup, they proved they can stay classic and stay modern.